What's good, folks? We back. Today, we back on the survival of the fittest. Listen, this part 2. If you want to see part 1, I'll put a little thing in the top right corner. But, last time we rated Erickson Boarding School, the New Frontier. And today we covering the groups that I really missed out on. Once again, we're going to rate them on their food supply, weapon skills, and their overall survival rate. So, let's get into it. First group we talking about. Now, the bum of this list, last place, we got Vernon's group. Maybe you don't remember Vernon's group. They were from season 1, and they were the medical crew who really stole Lee Group's boat. And listen, these folks, they were in survival mode, but I don't think they stacked up as well as all the other groups. Listen, for food supply, we know they were low. They didn't seem too focused on getting food, but their goal was to escape. So, I don't think they had any long-term food supply. So, food supply, I gotta give them a 4 out of 10. And when it comes to weapon skill, and I'd say they had the basics, because they did beat up Kenny and Ben. I don't know how that old, Vernon might have them hands or something, but he put a beating on them. So, I gotta say, they do have some, and they got the basics now. But for the more dangerous things, I don't think they got it too much. So weapons and skills, I'm gonna say 5 out of 10. Hey, if they could put a beat down on Kenny and Ben, maybe they got even more weapon skills than that. But from what I saw, that's what I see. Now for the overall survival rate. So listen, Berman Group, they were sneaking in the shores, but I feel like they lacked a long-term plan, and they probably lacked any survival instincts. And I feel like that really brought them down to the very last spot on this list. I'm going to give the survival rate a 3 out of 10. And listen, we don't even know if they done for. We don't know if they still out selling with the boat. But I don't think they, bro, I don't think they really was like that. Because at the end of the day, the boat plan, it was just, oh yeah, let's get on the boat and let's get to moving. You'll run out of supplies. You gotta stop everywhere. I think at the end of the day, it really wasn't a good plan. And maybe it was good for Lee Group that they didn't have the boat. Next up, we got the Junkyard Group. Now, if you wonder who I'm talking about with the Junkyard Group, I'm talking Javier, Kate, Gabe, Mariana. We talking all of them. And when they had the little pudding and they got, listen, their strategy, it was a little different from everybody else. And this crew, it was doing what it had to do with its limited resources. They were staying under the radar, and they had they had transportation. So that is a plus, I'm not gonna lie. But for the food supply, they was scavenging. They didn't really have a steady source of food, so I can't give it too high, but they were able to find it in their time of need, and the car definitely made it easier. So food supply, I'll give them a 5 out of 10. Just a little better than Burning Group. And weapon skills, listen, I feel like they could kind of defend themselves, but they can't really. And I know Javier, he got his strengths. Kate, she even took out a couple walkers. Gabe and Mariana, they got a hide for right now. I mean, Gabe could probably crash out and get one of the walkers, but weapon skills, I gotta go with a 5 out of 10. Because Javier, he know what he doing. Kate, she could get down and dirty, but everybody else, they probably gotta hide. Weapon wise, they don't have that many weapons. They are close combat weaponry, so they about in the same boat as Vernon Group with that regards. Now overall survival rate, and you in the car, you got your family, you got Javier, Kate, Mariana. You do have a good means of transportation, and that transportation can get you far, but there's always gonna be roadblocks. Now, they managed to stay alive for a while, and I'm sure they was good on the road. So survival rate, I'll get them a 5 out of 10. Listen, you might be good with this group for a moment, but I feel like soon as something pop off, hey, rip Mariana, man, rip Mariana. They did her dirty, I'm not gonna lie. But next group we gonna talk about, this group, you may know them. We talking about the Motor Inn group. Now you don't remember the Motor Inn group? You should. We talking about Lee, Kenny, Carly. Who else up in that thing? Clem herself and Big Ben. Now, with this, listen, they had their moments of strengths, but we do know how they turned out long term. So Food Supply, hey, we seen it in episode 2. They was barely hanging on. They needed something. So Food Supply, I gotta give them a 2 out of 10. Yeah. Y'all, hey, if you with them, you might be starving. But here's where it gets a little better at. Weapon skills. They aren't military expert fighters, but you know, this group got some dogs. We talking about Lee. You saw what Lee did to all them walkers. And we talking about Kenny. Listen, Kenny got out of a crazy scrap, and I don't know how he got out of there, but he did do it. So, weapon skills, I give them a 7 out of 10. Because, listen, they did have a few weapons. Sure, everybody went armed up to the T, but they had some very highly skilled people right there. But the overall survival rate, in this group, it held together for a good while, and it cracked a little. It cracked. So, survival rate, I don't think it could be too high. So, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Because they always manage it. Listen, the survival rate might be a 5 out of 10, but you scraping by every single day because they need the supplies. But at the same time, you will be surrounded by some good people, and you'll be surrounded by Larry. So yeah, you get a nice conversation here and there. For the best group that I left out on this list, I'm talking about you got your food, you got your electric fence, and you got some people who seem like good company for the first bit. We talking about the Andy St. John Dairy family. I know it's not Andy St. John, but the St. John Dairy family. If you don't remember them, they were the cannibalistic farmers who wanted to eat you. Now these people, they got a decent setup, even though their tactics are questionable at best. But Food Supply, 9 out of 10. They had plenty of food thanks to the farming and their other disgusting methods. Listen, say what you want, but them people, they had the food. I know you saw that biscuit on the table. The biscuit actually looked pretty decent. As long as you ain't eat no people, that might be good right there. And they had enough food to supply other people with food. So yeah, they was rolling in the food. So Food Supply, 9 out of 10. Now weapon skills. Listen, they ain't skilled fighters, but they set traps and kind of use their little sneakiness to their advantage. So with weapon skills, I go with 4 out of 10. Hey, Lee put the beat down on that man. But survival rate. This survival rate with this place, although twisted, although crazy, in the long run, I think it's a decent setup. The survival rate, I gotta go 7 out of 10. Cause hey, if you with Andy St. John family, you eating good. You probably, listen, you eating human though. So take with that what you want. I ain't staying with them, but I can't deny staying with them as long as you one of them. And you probably gonna get eaten. So actually, you know what? The survival rate might need to be 1 out of 10. Cause eventually they might eat you. But let's assume they not gonna eat you. Survival rate, probably the best out of everything on this list. What do you think? Do you think Andy St. John is the best out of this list? Do you think that the Motor Inn group should be higher? Or do you think that I missed it on the ball with the whole Burning group at the last spot? Because they actually alive still. But like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want it, and we out.